plus secant theta. All right. So I'm going to take this a little bit slower. I'm going to multiply the top and bottom of this by the conjugate of the bottom, which is tangent theta minus secant theta. I went a little too fast on that one because I wasn't sure if it was going to work. But now I feel very comfortable in the fact that it's going to work. I just messed up a sign. Somewhere in there I messed up one of my signs. So there's my conjugate of the bottom. And now let's multiply this. So I've got to do this times this, which gives me tan theta plus secant theta times this one, which is tan theta minus secant theta. Then I have to do this times this, -1. So it's going to turn both of these negative, minus tangent theta minus secant theta. Then I do this -1 times this. That's my inner one, and it's going to change those both to negative, minus tangent theta, or it's going to change this to negative, that to positive, plus secant theta. And then I have to do this times this, which is going to be +1. Okay, that's my numerator over my denominator. And again, because these are conjugates, when I multiply all of this times all of this, I will get the first guy squared, and then I'll get the last one. The middle terms cancel, so I got 1 here and -1, so -1. Let's see what cancels right now. What's gone right now? I get this is gone, this is gone. This is still the same as what I had last time. Let's figure out what these are multiplied together. This is tangent squared theta. I should have, oh, the middle ones are gone here because they're different signs, so no middle term, minus secant squared theta. That's right there. Oh, I forgot these. No, those tangents are not gone. Okay, so that's where we are. Okay, good. I forgot to put this. This right here was tangent theta minus secant theta. Okay, so now I have tangent squared theta, that's this, minus secant squared theta. Okay, that's that, so that takes care of that. Then I have two tangents here, so minus 2 tangent theta, and then I have +1. And then I think I see where my sign was messed up. And then on the bottom, when I square this, I get tangent squared theta, then minus 2 tangent theta secant theta. And then the last ones, I'll get plus secant squared theta. So trusting that you could go take this to the side and FOIL it out, then you have -1. Okay, this equals, now, I am going to replace this secant squared theta with something. I'm going to be using the identity 1 plus tangent squared theta equals secant squared theta. And I'm actually going to do this, I'm going to use this formula twice. If I move the tangent, or if I move the negative, or move the 1 to the other side, so if I move that 1 to the other side, I get secant squared theta -1. So on the bottom, secant squared theta -1, this right here is tangent squared theta. And then I can replace this secant squared theta, and I'm going to do it in parentheses this time. I'm going to have a minus, and then secant squared theta is 1 plus tangent squared theta. All right, let's try and rewrite this. So I have this tangent squared theta. Then I have this negative is going to go through here. I get -1 minus tangent squared theta Okay, so I've done those. Minus 2 tangent theta. And then I have plus 1. Over. In the denominator, this is a tangent squared theta. This is a tangent squared theta. Add those together, I get 2 tangent squared thetas. And then I still have this term right here, which is minus 2 tan theta secant theta. This tangent squared and that tangent squared cancel. This -1 and this +1 cancel. This looks very much like what I had, but I think I've got my signs right now. So in the numerator, I have -2 tangent theta over the denominator. I'm going to just write it 2 tangent squared theta minus 2 tangent theta secant theta. I'm going to factor out now a -2 on the bottom, a -2 tangent theta on the bottom. So when I pull out a -2 tangent theta, I am left with, I need a negative tangent theta here. And then I pulled the negative out already, and I pulled the 2 out in the tangent, so I should be left with plus secant theta, like that. Yes, okay. I think that's where I made my mistake last time. I pulled the -2 out, and then I didn't make that a plus right here. Or I did it the other way around, but either way, this looks good. I can cancel this, and so I get 1 over secant theta minus tangent theta. So I've rewritten it, I've changed the order like this. I'm trying to get to this, remember? Now at this point, I'm going to keep everything in terms of secant and tangent. I'm just going to multiply the top and bottom of this by the conjugate of this, which is that actually. Secant theta plus tangent theta, secant theta plus tangent theta. And let's hope for the best. So the numerator is secant theta plus tangent theta. And the denominator, you have to do this. And since they're the same, except for the signs are different, it's just going to be the first term squared, secant squared theta, and then minus and plus means minus, and then the last term squared, tangent squared theta. Yeah. Okay, now what? Let's replace tangent squared theta. So remember the identity, 1 plus tangent squared theta equals secant squared theta. So if I subtract 1 from both sides, I get secant squared theta minus 1 is tangent squared theta. So if I replace this with secant squared theta minus 1, right, with this, and I have a minus in front of it, then I still have the secant squared out here in front of it. Secant squared theta minus secant squared theta, they go away, and you get minus 1 is plus 1. So you get secant theta plus tangent theta over 1. I don't know what to say about that. I really hope that you seeing that was worth your time. Because, I mean, like I said, this problem was so far away from everything else difficulty level-wise that when I initially looked at it, I mean, I never even thought to do what I wound up doing because it just doesn't fall into like, it falls definitely within the realm of like legal algebra. But in this book, there's nothing to that level until you get to that problem. And all of a sudden, boom, it's this thing. And then I think at the end, I was so kind of worn down that I messed up a sign and it got off. And so you have to just keep trying. So I hope you learn the moral of the story here is that we are all human and we do get exhausted and we do start to get discouraged. But part of this is you being willing to erase everything, start over from scratch and try again. So, all right, I think it's perfect time. I gotta get out of this room. So glad that's over.